For this book, I think the most part that touches me is how it shapes the complex emotions and the relationships between people, and how it portrays the people who cannot find find where they belong to. Like in this book, most people are intellectuals immigrated from China to New York City. You can see that they want to belong to this city. So if you are like confused about your identity and experience the same thing, you can echo your own experience in this book. I think it's covered in the tragic atmosphere. However, you can get a sense of encouragement as you can see how people a pure relationship, their emotional love encourage them to suffer from the things that they will never want to encounter solely.
And actually, I feel like I really immersed into the stories about like how our main character Chen Jialing, Dang Galing, how to accept herself, how to accept unperfect herself, and also like how to just get up from the failures and also something like that. So I just tried to read the script like a few weeks ago, and I found that like something in our life actually would not be really run smoothly or reach our expectations by our parents, especially like in the Asia regions. But in some cases, we need to like slow down and also accept our imperfect some fields and also some areas. We don't need to like compete with ourselves, though there's so many pressure that carries by our society as our peers. We need to try to like focus on ourselves, and especially for our progressions and our experiences, and try to find the like glinting and also the sparkling point in our life. That's our like this life goes on.
I particularly like to investigate how people think and how they perceive the world. And this book develops these concepts in a compiled way. This book also challenges the assumption that greater intelligence leads to a better life. As we become more self-aware, he finds it increasingly hard to connect with others, even with those who initially supported him, because it's in the form of progress report, as I said, and every subtle change in the emotion or feeling of the character can be felt through the subtle changes in language.
I think it is a raw, unsettling, and deeply honest exploration of what it truly cost to break free from people and the belief that shaped you. And I think this book redefined what education is, but not just as a simple ticket to a better job, but as a slow, painful, and a process of learning to explore the world with your own eyes and to question authority and to write your own stories.
Yeah, I first read them when I was 14. Yeah, just 1 year old younger than the main character of this book. I think most readers experience this book as adults, just looking back on their youth with nostalgia and judgment. But I experience it as someone waiting for or still inside the storm. The reason I recommend this book is that everyone can find their own place in it. It can mirror your struggles and confusion, whether you're young or you're old.
Although the language is pretty hard, the content and the plot of this book is very interesting and actually very attractive to me. For example, in this book, William Shakespeare used a lot of techniques such as imagery, metaphors, and such things, and all of this could be used in our writing and could actually help us writing a better story. And also, although this book is setting in a pretty long past time, the plot is actually could reflect something that is still happening in the modern society. Initially, morally good person finally fell down due to his overambitions, and this is actually pretty common even in the modern society.
This play is interesting because it discusses about the group psychology, how different people responded to fear, and how the fear of consequences lead to a much worse consequence. Also, there's peer pressure discussed in this play. Brian, he was forced to lie to the police while he didn't want it to, but he did because of peer pressure. All characters in this play somehow have their specific roles, so the play is quite easy to understand. For example, some people are narrators who provides additional information and conveys the plot. And this play is interesting because everyone in this play kind of resembles a type of people, and they react differently to the same situation.
It was basically about the sailing journey of an Asian mariner who was driven by a storm to the icy South Pole, where a albatross saved the ship from the storm. However, for no reason, the mariner shot the albatross, and then the nightmare unfolds.
What I like about this epic poem is Coleridge's use of rhyme. At first, he uses a lot of regular quatrains. What I like about this poem is its rhyme scheme and its form. Coleridge uses regular quatrains at first, and he has a lot of internal rhyme, which makes the rhythm very regular. And he later alternates between quatrains, sets, and octaves, but this does not change the regular rhythm. And this sort of rhythm almost mirrors the sea's rhythm in the mariner's mind, and it uses this rhythm to stretch his guilt throughout the whole epic poem.
So the first reason I really like this poem is that I actually find it quite modern. Like, as you can see, the poem has a hollowed verse, and each line is shaped like a wing of an angel. And I think you often associate these creative poetic forms with more modern poets, but George Herbert, writing in the same time as John Milton and John Donne, he already innovates with these forms. And I think it really you almost scan the poem visually, and you see the message and the devotion Herbert was trying to achieve through the poem through the form, which I find fascinating. A second reason is, as the lines become more narrow, the poem is describing also becomes less virtuous. He describes the flaws in the human nature as a protagonist of the poem. And I think, obviously there are theological implications to this idea. People need to realize their flaws, and we all are incomplete in our virtues, and only when we seek external guidance, whether through religion, spiritual sources, or modern sources like philosophy or psychology, it is only through these sources can we really complete our human consciousness and finally reach a moral state that we desire. And I think this poem, through the words that are narrower man is in the middle, whereas the angel in a theological sense kind of broadens the man's virtues at the end. I think this really reflects how I consider humans to mature morally. So I think that's why I really recommend this poem.
So Different has a normal horror novel. It is like a novel combined with suspense novel and horror novel. So why I recommend this book is because we read a lot of horror novel, and this one is like having a lot more elements in it. It have like supernatural, mysterious, and all these things. And it have many different supernatural creatures in it.
When you read Bloom's criticism, you see in Shakespeare what you do not see when you read Shakespeare himself, when you go and see a Shakespearean play, when you learn Shakespeare in the classroom. And I feel like reading what is there in Shakespeare's language, but what our intelligence or what our understanding cannot support us to see in such depth. This is where this book comes in. This is where literary criticism comes in.
Honestly, I hesitated quite a bit among the 3 Hesse novels I read this year. If you're thinking about starting Hesse, this probably isn't the best place to begin. The book is mostly abstract stream of consciousness, and it can feel a little bit untethered if you're not already familiar with his voice. Hesse was deeply drawn to Eastern philosophy, especially Buddhism and classical Chinese poetry. Actually, in this book, he referred to himself as Li Bai and called his friend, the painter Louis Moylet, his Du Fu. That says a lot about how he saw himself as wanderer, a drunkard of light and color trying to burn through every last drop of summer.